This Boston game, you're going to see how Dame is able to play against a drop coverage without Giannis.
That is demoralizing.
Look at Damian Lillard out here, contesting, blocking shots. He tried to block a Luke Cornett shot before. He's doing everything.
This is ice. We're going to see so many coverages, right? And mind you, this is Boston, right? A Boston team that has now even added a Kristaps Porzingis. Still has, I believe, Al Horford, Robert Williams, and those guys. But regardless,
that is demoralizing.
The amount of gravity this is then going to have, right? Because Dame doesn't have to turn this corner and think score every single time. He can turn this corner and just draw out this big if he wants to, right? Instead of getting there. Draw out the big, force the switch, and then allow Giannis to roll to the rim and get that pass off right there to Giannis. Allow him to go and attack.
Shot clock winding down. Got to be a deep one from Tatum.
All right. This is the one that's going to be the worst. This is going to be the toughest shit to guard. This is the toughest shit to guard. That right there. Transition pick and rolls. Look, we already know the type of gravity this has while they're just set in a regular half court. Everybody already in help, all that stuff, right? But now this. You set this screen while the defense still isn't set. You got everybody still pointing fingers where they should be. May not even know who they should guard, right? And so what are you going to even do at this point now, right? Dame can pull up. You want to step up? Boom, no problem. Giannis on a roll. Roll, gravity in the middle. Like it, tough. The other important part that's going to make this all transpire properly is as they get into this action, everybody off the ball has to get to their spots. They have to make sure they're all spaced. So as soon as Dame comes off the screen from Giannis, everybody's already ready to shoot. Milwaukee's had some of the best offense, right, without running a high dosage of pick and rolls. And pick and rolls with Giannis in them, right? But now you can do something like this, where you just need to tell Middleton, Lopez, and Connaughton just to stand in spots. And you could go to work like this. Dame gets off one screen, don't got nothing. Comes off the second screen, now we find something. At this point, you don't even need a clipboard. And that's the dangerous part about Milwaukee, because they could still run their motion sets and whatever else they want to do, but also have the luxury of this pick and roll.
That's a little... Al Horford going to the scores table. I thought it was interesting. He's only played 19 minutes tonight with a back-to-back tomorrow. Lillard just...
You're going to see the same exact thing when you see Kristaps Porzingis in the drop. Because you know damn well, 7'2", long body ass Kristaps Porzingis is not going to step up much further than this because he cannot move much faster. And so he's going to see a guard like Dame take these dribbles as hard as he can, attack that hip, and he's going to have to open up. And even though he is a shot blocker, you can't block shots when you're off balance, when you're trying to go backwards, when you already broke your base. So what's going to end up happening? Dame either gets a layup, or you get fouled, or you get to the paint, kick out to Khris Middleton or Brook Lopez, or Pat Connaughton, Jay Crowder. You know what I'm saying? They got options. What's really going to cook some teams is when you see Giannis's long, strong, quick body ass, right? Sprinting up into these screens. Like, it's going to be one of the most difficult things to deal with. Because as a big guarding that, if he's running up from this baseline, you also have to run up as well. And so who's to say Giannis can't just flip that screen the other direction and you pick the wrong side? Oh, man, we're not even going to get into that in a second. We're not even going to get into that right now. Marcus Smart wasn't under. Boom, you're fried. You're done. Rebound, Dame catches. Look at the numbers. 1 versus 4. He sees it. So what does he do? I slow down, right? I'm a wait, right? And in me waiting, I end up finding myself an open 3 in the same exact spot at which I just stopped and waited. Why? Because I actually allowed my teammates to get back into the play. I have Waters, boom. He comes over, sets the screen. So now he has his gravity and makes it tougher for the defenders to guard the play. And so it's just in the same spot he gets his bucket. All because he was just patient.
Recovered by Sharp, 10 to shoot for Dame. Works on Reed, hesitates, drags his body inside and draws.
This might be one of his best skills. This might be one of his best skills. Now that you really see all the pick and rolls, is that if you even try to hedge, right? Or just show and get back, Dame's just going to turn that corner. He's strong enough, 1, and quick enough, 2, to be able to get through that hip. And so he gets here. And then the defense is just in a mix. Like, they don't even know what to do at that point. Pete, though, right? Guess what Dame does again? Turn the corner against the big who tries to show. And what ends up happening? It's Dame time now as well. Khris Middleton has no problem closing out games as well, if y'all remember. But Dame now, though, no problem.
Yeah, I might as well get this out of the way tonight in the first half so I can kind of sit back and relax.
You know what's funny? Brook Lopez has so much time to prepare, but the speed, he just couldn't handle it. Transition once again. He's out here. And so at this point, it's like he could stop on a dime and he could pull up, right? And so Brook's not really in retreat mode, like, oh, I got to go and cut him off. He's not going to do that until he gets inside that three-point line. And by that time, Dame's already picked up a full steam bucket. Now, this is going to be the same thing for all bigs, by the way. And if anything, it's going to be even worse because Lopez is one of the best defending bigs in the NBA.
Not from 15 feet out.
This is going to be the toughest thing to guard, bro. Milwaukee might be one of the best transition teams in the NBA next season. Just because this right here. You tell Giannis to set this drag screen, and then you see a player, like, no big is going to be able to keep up with Dame at that speed. With a roller as well. Like, even if you keep up, it's like, all right, you kept up with me. I don't have my lay. I'm just going to take you right back out, and now I'm going to throw it down to Giannis with the mismatch.
They're working against that all night long. Nurk, the steal, up the floor, sets up Dame. Wait for Maxey to fly by. Comes off the pick for three.
That shit is tough. Oh, my gosh, my gosh, my gosh. I'm really trying to think, how will teams try to guard this? Like, you just tell Brook Lopez run a lane to shoot. You tell Giannis to set these drag screens. Realize the luxury of options and the abundance. Dame has an abundance of options that he could get to off these screens. Like, he could get here, get to a shot, or he could, like, if the big did step up early, Giannis could just roll down the lane. You know what Giannis gonna do? Him, like, you know what I'm saying? What he gonna do? Seven assists just to Giannis is literally, that sounds fair. The game up.
Portland crashes their offensive glass really hard, Denver can get out and run.
Yeah, they're vulnerable if you can get it going.
Look, now you're wondering what's going to happen if they try to show a hard hedge, a hard show. You could just flip that screen and go the other way because the big committing to that one side, they're cooked. This is one of the coverage teams will try to throw at them. Right? Dame with Giannis on the screen and have this big show hard one going one way. Pause. And so what's going to end up happening? If Giannis is conscious as a screener, he'll just do this right here. Flip the screen instead of going the other way. And what is Dame going to do? Go the other way. And what's on the other side? Nothing. Because the big committed to one side already. You're cooked. You're cooked.
I don't even know how I would answer that. Do you have a favorite?
Yesterday. That was your favorite? That was crazy.
Are they all crazy?
And this is the thing too, though. Like, you'll try to manipulate Dame and send him one direction, but he's great at drawing fouls to keep you honest. So, like, he's here, gets a switch. Murray tries to get his hands around him, like, limit the amount of space he has. So what does he do? Rip through that way. Murray looks off at the ref, but as he's looking off, Dame goes off that screen. Finds just enough space that he needs, while Jamal Murray is off balance because Dame kept him honest with that arm. Now he just gets that over the top. Now with Giannis as a screener, this is where teams are really going to try to exploit him and his athleticism, his speed, right? They're going to try to be a step ahead, right, to the point where they can meet him on help, and so that they could try to get a charge. But if you don't allow him to land, it's going to be a block every time. But if Giannis catches and decides to say, let me try to get through him, it's going to be a charge every time. So he has to be able to hold that trigger back on these situations where a defender does get set.
For the momentum, slight shift in the Sixers' direction.
That's what you can't do. No. You can't do this once. It's a waste of a possession. Especially with Damian Lillard on your side. If Dame comes off the screen, I give Dame all the keys. Like, you could do what you want instead of passing this to Giannis at the top. Anything is better than this. He could come off the screen, have his defender right on his side. Boom. Shoot it. I don't care. Don't throw it to Giannis back there. That's a waste of a possession. With all due respect. Like,
with all due respect,
we know the shit not going to be rocking. You know what I'm saying? Now, Giannis' point of view, right? What do I do instead of setting the screen and shooting this three? I just go into another handoff with Khris Middleton. Do something like that. Or attack this gap. Something. Instead of shooting this shot. You're wasting possessions. Because now you have Damian Lillard on your team. Now, this is where the free throws come in. Free throws. Giannis going to set these screens. Dame going to hit him in the pocket, right? Giannis is going to get fouled. Can Giannis hit these free throws? You got to make sure you can knock down these free throws. I hope you've been working on them. If Giannis could get to a cool 70%, 72%, they're good.
Bail out his team.
Now look, right.
Y'all figure it out.
Screen. You got no, Giannis. Now when Giannis says he screens, you can't be scared of the roll, right? Because he hits this right here. If he just sprints all the way down the middle, even if help comes over, you realize the options you have at this point. You have Tatum, who will probably step in, White, who will probably step in, and then you have Allen and Middleton on the weak side. And then even if this is a lineup with Dame, you'll have Middleton and Crowder or Connaughton on that weak side. So now you can get those skips going because the gravity that roll brought has left so many more options.
I'm not going to call a timeout.
But if you're going to end up popping, you at least got to get here and do something like this. At least attack, eat up that space, but also make sure you got to stay controlled. Realize what occurred on this play, right? See how this whole play transpired and how Giannis let the pressure get to him, right? This is what Giannis cannot do with Dame, right? They just go get that dunk, right? Giannis brings it down, tries to get something, gives it up, sets the screen, pops out, and now he's stunning at him like he's doing to Colin Sexton. And now guess what happens? He gets baited into shooting a three. I don't even need to finish this shot, just so y'all know.
I shoot my shot in the brick, yeah. I shoot my shot in the brick.
He can't do that shit. It's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna be wasting possessions. This is what gets scary. When you get into actions, right, that aren't just, oh, let's stay at the top and run a pick and roll. Where you get some movement going to deactivate this help side, right? So they had that action going on over here. No weak side help. Throw that pass over the top. These rolls could be open for Giannis all day. And if you want to go over and help, we get some skips and get into some handoffs and some swings or whatever.
Three-pointer. He's up to 19. Giannis, and that's going to...
He's going to have to be careful of that. This could throw a lot of late game possessions into the trash can and really could change who wins this game. If Giannis gets here and decides to just steamroll down the lane on defenders who are intelligent, who know what they're doing, who have IQ, who could play positions. They get called for a block, he was moving a little bit, but it's not going to be like that every single time. It's going to be the one at the worst time that's going to end up being called in their favor and not yours. So Giannis just needs to learn how to short roll, need to be able to see that player right there and be able to say, okay, let me stop for a second. Let me get to a post up, then get to a float or get to a hook or something like that. Or just get closer and closer to the rim because players are just too small and get a literal layup or a dunk. And most importantly, Giannis is going to have to learn how to set screens for Dame. Ever since Denver sent Nurkic to Portland, that whole time, Nurkic has been setting screens for Dame for 8 years or so. I don't know how long. But that's a long time. And so now Dame, when he was in Portland, had the perfect screen set. Giannis is going to have to go and study Jusuf Nurkic and see how he set those screens for Dame. One, and then also just go as Dame two. How do you like your screens to be set, right? So you know how you want to angle Dame coming off these screens, going to his right and going to his left. How do I set this screen and be able to roll out of this position that I just set this screen for Dame? You know what I'm saying? He's got to really learn how to do those things and really learn how to play with him, gain that chemistry. If you told me to make a bet on who's going to win the chip this upcoming season, my money's going to be on Milwaukee, bro. They're just too lethal, bro. It's just too lethal, bro. We could talk about that maybe tomorrow if I'm streaming.